Hi, and welcome to your guide for finding houses online and offline. And I'm here with Angie. Angie, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Angie is an expert at finding houses, especially finding off-market houses. But before we get into that, Angie, so we can get to know you a little bit, tell me if you were a neighborhood outside of Atlanta, somewhere outside of Atlanta, any neighborhood in the world, what would be your spirit neighborhood?
So last time I told y'all my Atlanta neighborhood, this time anywhere in the world, my spirit neighborhood would be Old Town in Prague in Czech Republic. Um, it's a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood. If you ever have the chance to go, it has the highest amount of castles per square mile
Wow.
over anywhere in the world. So there's tons of castles and also a lot of beautiful art there as well. Great art museums.
Wow, highest amount of castles per square mile. I didn't know that. I have been to Prague. It is beautiful. I didn't know that. That's a great fact.
Yeah, more castles than Prague than anywhere in the world.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to help people find their castle. And typically people start searching online for the castle. So let's start there. I mean, people start online, and I would say most people typically start with Zillow. Is that a good place to search? What should people do when they start searching online?
So yeah, most people do start their search on Zillow, and Zillow can be a really great tool as far as having a way to easily search price points, neighborhoods, start getting an idea of what's out there. So I definitely, wouldn't say don't look at Zillow. The issue with being on Zillow is that it syndicates from what the agents use, which is the MLS system, and sometimes it's a couple days behind. We've noticed, especially with homes that are under contract, it seems to not update so quickly. So once you really start digging into your search, it's usually good to switch to the MLS just so that you can have a more comprehensive list of things that are actually available.
Yeah. How does somebody switch to the MLS?
So you would just get with your agent and we can set you up based on your search criteria. It's a little bit, your search is going to be a little bit more specific, which is why looking on Zillow to start with can be nice. But once you've started narrowing down price points and neighborhoods, we can set you up based on what you're specifically looking for to receive those listings.
Awesome. And so people are looking on Zillow, they're looking on MLS, they're seeing all the stuff that comes online. Is that everything that sells, or are there houses that sell that don't get listed on Zillow or on MLS?
So there's a lot of houses that we sell that are not ever listed on MLS. I would say maybe like 10-15% of the houses that we sell, we actually find off market for our clients.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Something exclusive, something special, off market. How do you find off market houses?
There's a few ways that we can search for off market houses. First is just through communicating with other agents. We're usually emailed things out before they come. So we keep an eye on that, as well as, knowing what we have coming up in the pipeline for the team. So one's just, that natural things that we hear about. Some other ways too, though, is that we can start to prospect for off-market homes for you specifically. The first thing that we're going to do is reach out to agents who have sold homes in the past that are like the homes that you would like to purchase. So, if they've sold one before, they'll sell one again. So that can be a great way that we can start finding that. And then the other way is just to start reaching out to homeowners specifically. So we can reach out to neighbors, past clients who are neighbors in areas that you like. We have a big team that's all throughout Atlanta, so we can ask our own neighbors. We can also do things like mail outs, email mail outs, send actual letters to people who live in homes that we've pinpointed as homes that would be a potential home for you.
Yeah, I've been surprised at how successful the both email and real mail letters are. It almost always gets opportunities for off-market properties.
Yeah, I think, every email chain that we send out, it definitely gets at least one response. And a lot of times it ends up being the house for the client.
So what can help you guys do that? Because I was just thinking in my head, if you're searching for a 4-bedroom house somewhere in Cobb County, might be hard to send out mailers or an email that is targeted towards that because there are so many. What's most helpful for you to help find off-market houses for people?
Yeah, so on the off-market searches, this is definitely where the more specific we can be, the better. This is really the chance to look for your dream home. So this is, we're going to want to narrow this down by what kind of parking do you want? What sort of backyard do you want? How renovated do you want this to be? And we can, there's ways that we can kind of tell if that house fits those criteria. So I definitely think to get this as specific as possible, this is really your, 90%, 100% checklist of what you want in a house.
And that's a little counterintuitive because you might think, hey, the broader my search is, the more options I have. But actually, the more specific it is, the better we can go to those specific houses and have individual ask, whether it's in person or email or through a connection or something like that.
Yeah, we definitely see that our response rate's a lot higher when it is very specific, just because, when you get junk mail in the mail, if it's just a generic junk mail that went to everybody on the street, you're just going to throw that away and not answer it. But if you get a personalized letter to you with your name describing your home and how somebody would love to live in it, and you can tell that this is truly a connection, not just a random mail out, then you're going to pay attention and you're going to respond, even if it's just a, sorry, we're not interested. You're going to notice that someone actually made the effort to reach out to you specifically, not just a random mail out.
Yep. So once they find that house, either online or off market, how quickly do people need to go see houses?
So that's the great thing about finding things that are off market, is because the actual urgency, there's still some urgency, but it's not quite as much as if you're finding something on market. If you're in Atlanta, if you're looking for a great home in Atlanta, those can sell in a matter of days. Yeah. But the thing with the off market is that you can really work the timeline to work well for you, for the seller, just because they don't have the same sense of urgency, which can be great to really work out a deal that's perfect for you.
Love that. Awesome. That's great advice, Angie. If you could give one piece of advice, maybe like a secret to finding houses, either online or off market, what one piece of advice would you give folks?
I think finding the off-market houses, it just all comes down to relationships. Work with an agent who has great relationships within the agent community. That's going to be the best way to come up with off-market stuff. You want your agent to be in communication with their clients, with their peers, and really know what's going on and what's going to be for sale.
Awesome. That's great advice. I really appreciate it, Angie. I hope you all enjoyed our guide to finding houses both online and off market. Up next is actually going to see the house, which is one of my favorite parts. And so, Angie, we appreciate you. We will see you all next time. Thanks, Angie.
Thanks, Justin.